What's up, y'all? Welcome back to God's Grace Podcast. This is episode 6. And man, we got a lot in store for y'all today. So we're talking about spiritual foundation. But first, as you guys know, my name is Al Smith, and I'm here with my brother,
Patrick.
And we got my guy,
Yosh.
Hey, we got a lot for y'all. Our special guest, Yoshi, gonna drop some gems for y'all, so keep y'all ears open. No, you guys don't use anything but chicken wings. So, as usual, before we start, we're gonna open up with prayer. So, if you're driving, keep your eyes on the road, but close your eyes and bow your head as I pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the day you have given us. We thank you for the breath in our lungs. We thank you for you just being God, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, and we thank you for all the episodes that were made, and we ask that you just continue to allow the words that is spoken today to be from you and not from our own accord. So God, we ask that you use us. We ask that you open up the ears of the viewers, and we ask that you just continue to show us how important our foundation is in you and not in other things. So God, we ask that you continue to allow us to put on our armor and use the tools that you allowed us to have through your word and to attack and overcome the enemy. So we ask that in this moment that you continue to use us as vessels, as lights, and use each viewer in their designated promise. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. So today, we got a lot for y'all. And spiritual foundation, it's important. Because if you building on sand, all you need is some rain and you sliding off. You building on mud, same thing. So what y'all think real quick before we really dive in about how important a foundation is for y'all?
Yes, piggybacking off last week's episode, wearing your armor. I feel like spiritual foundation is a good segue from wearing your armor and spiritual foundation because it's teaching you how to maintain it, and it talks about a lot of things in our lives that could affect, our spiritual walk and our foundation. So it could be with friends, families, habits, routines, things of that sort. So I'm excited for this episode. I'm very excited. How about you?
I think when I think about foundation, I think he talks about like sand or I think it was mud. But the other thing he said, like, I think whenever the rain comes, for that church we're talking about like preparing for rain to rain. When the rain comes, it'll expose whatever your foundation is made of, and so like having that strong foundation and making sure that it's on and with God instead of like worldly things, it'll show whenever push comes to shove.
No, that's true. And even with like wearing your armor, how we spoke on last episode, and your foundation, and like you said, rain to rain, like when the rain's gonna reveal it, a lot of times it's around us. We got to see our surroundings and like our friends and who we surround ourselves really shows like who are like how our foundation is really built.
Yeah.
So example, if you're surrounded by people that scam, that that trap, your foundation weak because it's all worldly things. But if you in the church, if you surround yourself with people like-minded or even thinking greater than what you think, it'll be stronger. It'll help you propel further.
Definitely.
We got a few questions over here. So, how do you feel? What shaped you in your foundation today?
I think my foundation should be with, like you said, the people that you walk with and the people that are in your circle. It's very important who you have in your circle for your walk because it can create holes in areas that you didn't realize and mess you up in the long run. So my foundation is just making sure my circle is right. I was going to say something else, but wait, circle is right and tight? Is that like, that's all right. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
you don't mind out the gutter.
Don't think like
Relax.
that. Pause counter. I don't know. But just making sure the circle is right. The people in it is good, and that you're not allowing things that obviously that will mess you up, and just making sure that you're surrounded by the right people.
I definitely resonate with that because growing up in church, all that stuff, like I thought that was my foundation of like, because my parents did XYZ, but I had to build my own foundation.
Yeah.
Like you said, having people around you that can poke holes into your foundation. I learned that the hard way because I was outside. I was, trying to do what the world thinks is the big glamorous stuff, but it's like, really, I'm dead inside. So when I actually built that foundation of like having right people around me and really seeking the Lord, that's when like it really strengthened me. So.
I think like for me, my foundation was like built off of experiences, like negative experiences, because I was like, I was in the world for sure heavily. I only started my walk like in 2024, but because of all of those things, I know now what life looks like when I'm not walking with Christ, and like when I'm not having that foundation. I'm like, if I'm basing my life on something else that's other than Christ, I know what it looks like and what it feels like, and I don't want to return to that. So
that's good. That's good. When you think back, you're like, dang,
why did I do that?
Yeah.
Like, why did I think that was a good idea? Because I didn't know no better.
Yeah.
Like now I know better. Sometimes I try to.
Nah, bro.
Yeah. I guess another thing, a question that we can ask is, what hurt your growth recently, or something that you in the past that hurt your growth, your spiritual walk, your spiritual foundation, and you didn't realize it?
We were just talking about that for like, I guess I'll start. So like, for me personally, is I glorify finding a partner. I want to find my partner, and it gets to the point where I realize now that I will idolize that partner, and that'll distract me from my walk, because I will sacrifice whatever I need to kind of make that person happy, even if it's like something that doesn't make me happy and I know doesn't make God happy.
Yeah.
So that was like a distracting factor for me. That was semi-recent, but
Tunnel vision.
Lock back in.
Tunnel vision with the
lock
Lord.
back in.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And I resonate with that as well. Like how you was talking earlier, like mine was, fairly recent as well, and like idolizing. But also I learned that I idolized my plan. Like instead of really focusing on God's plan of like, okay, like, yeah, it's time for you to do this. Yeah, it's time for you to do this. But I'm like, nah, God, I feel like I should really do this. I should He's like, okay, I'm gonna keep speaking to you to, tell you go left or right.
Yeah.
But he's like, at the end of the day, my plan is gonna, work. And I had to learn the hard way. And now, like, that shift really put me in position to be like, okay, God, for every decision, I'm like, what you want me to do? Like, what food do you want me to do? And like, literally today, like, I got done work. I'm like, I should go get some tropical smoothie, get a smoothie, get a little flatbread, like try to be healthy.
Yeah.
And then I prayed real quick. I'm like, God, I'm hungry. What should I eat? And then I called my sister because she's home. I'm like, you got food at home? She's like, yeah. Mom just cook. I'm like, bet.
Oh, that's the answer.
Straight home.
Yeah, straight home. Save my money, all that. So
perfect. For me, I feel like mentally, I think there's a term that I use. It's like I'm a mental time traveler. I go back in the past a lot, and I think recently that hurt. Not recently, but like probably a couple months ago, that I realized, me reminiscing on the past or still trying to cling or hold on to the past, was stopping my walk and my growth. Like I was stumbling left and right, figuring out why. And the whole time God is like, yo, let go of what's not here anymore. It's done. You're still alive. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And he's just been telling me, let go. Because I kept holding on to that. I kept trying to figure out what should I do with this issue, this thought process, whatever, trying to pray. God is saying, I'm not going to do anything about it because I already did something about it. It's out of your life, so stop trying to bring it back. Stop trying to think about it. This is why you're stressed. This is why you're losing sleep. This is why you can't focus on the now. And when I figured that out, after a couple slaps from God, the righteous, holy, righteous slap across the face, he said, all right, now do you understand? I said, I understand. And I'll tell you, even though every walk is difficult. It has difficult points. It has been much easier and able to maintain after just letting go of the past. So that's my story right there.
So you just gave me an uppercut. Like I felt like you was talking like, dang.
Just said like, yo, stop. You know, I guess segueing into that from segment 2, segueing into what we're about to talk about. This might be hard for our listeners and people here. It's a safe space, so if you're listening, it's okay.
Oh, yeah.
You can type whatever you want in the chat, and for us, it's open space. We're talking about, we talked about people in our circles, our friends and everything. Now, what about friends that don't match our circles? Family members or people in our lives right now that don't or didn't match our circles, and we had to outgrow them, or right now we're feeling like, yo, I'm outgrowing them right now. And you don't have to say no names or anything, but like right now, we can reiterate that outgrowing people isn't a betrayal. It's just you recognize that this part of the journey is done. Sometimes we, like you said, we stay loyal to people that we have outgrown, and that can lead to self-sabotage in our personal walk. And another thing that growth exposes misalignment. It's family, friends, relationship, even jobs, even like material things that we hold on to that is not meant to be, or just not in the season right now. Let's just dive into that. What thing personally, recently, in the past, or you just want to talk about that, you're outgrowing, you outgrew, whatever it is.
So that's because I've outgrown a lot of people. Like I told you, I was out. But I would say what recently came to mind when we were speaking about outgrowing somebody. So you outgrowing them can also enhance them to grow.
Yeah.
Like example, I've had somebody that I'm like, yo, this is my brother. We did everything together. And then I went one way, he went another way. Not saying the way he went was bad or anything, but we literally just went two different ways. Talk here and there, but we still had the same love for each other, but it was just the respect of oh yeah, you doing that, I'm doing that, cool. But then now, as we both outgrew each other, we kind of now growing together in terms of let's do this together real quick, let's da-da-da. Because now we're in the same posture, same mindset.
Yes.
So it's not saying all the people that you outgrew, you're gonna grow back with. Nah, don't go. God tell you let them go, let them go. Because that freedom, you're able to really, expand your wings. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times those people that we want to see, make it to the top with us, or all those different things, it can be that dead weight that is holding us down.
Yeah. It's good.
I mean, I'm the same way because I have a very, very, he's like you said, my brother, he's not my blood brother, but he's my brother. And it's interesting because when I first started walking, I was before I was very in the world, I was doing a lot of things that I shouldn't have been doing. And as I started my walk, I started to question whether I was okay, if I continue to interact with this person, are they going to drag me down with them? Or am I going to be able to set myself apart and then be an example for them? Luckily, we're in two different states. He lives somewhere else right now, and I live here. I won't disclose personal information, But long story short is he came to visit one time, and I was worried because normally every time we hung out, we would just get drunk. We would get drunk. We would do a lot of different things, whatever it was. And the time he came, we didn't. And he left. We had a good time still. He left. And then a couple of days later, he called me and he was like, what made you want to follow God? Because you're very different from the last time I saw you. Because the last time you saw me, I wasn't pursuing God. And so when you say you can grow apart from that person and then be an example for them, I think that's 100% true. And I think you should be an example to everybody that you outgrow without the expectation that they're going to come to you back right away, because at the end of the day, God is going to consistently call them, and regardless of whether they answer within your lifespan or within theirs, that's really between them and God. But I think being that example is important.
Yeah. I guess for me would be I guess everybody can relate, like family members, you know, that don't align with your walk with Christ. Sometimes, you know, just letting them go or do their thing and not trying to control everything all the time. With how they view what you're doing, how you go to church or your walk is important. Even relationships, you know, just past relationships I've had that, you know, ended because walks were different and things weren't being seen eye to eye for a lot of things, and a lot of things I felt were being blamed for the wrong things. But overall, I knew it was just different paths and different walks with Christ, as you said, like you know, different destinations towards the end of the day. There's no bad blood between me and that person. It's just I figured it out a little too late. You know, it's done. But I guess that's the way God wanted it to work. But it showed a lot, and from there, you know, I did have the thought, oh, maybe, you know, things gonna work or that and everything. It's if we have this mindset. But quickly, I said, get that out your head, because that's not how you're supposed to heal and grow. You're supposed to do your own thing, but with God, and stop controlling the outcomes of everything, and you'll be good. And pertaining to the family member part that I was talking about, my family, they are Catholic, and I grew up Catholic, but you know, became a Christian because I wanted a closer relationship with God itself, instead of like the building and statues and like a guy on stage and stuff like that. So from there, it was a whole lot of friction, but we, you know, parted from that amicably. And you know, over the course of those years, you know, things have been great. We've understood each other. They've even become Christian and had a better relationship with God. And I said, you know, things work out when you just leave it in God's hands and not really stress or treat people in the wrong way. You know, just it works out in ways we don't know.
And like to piggyback on both of y'all said, like how when you outgrow somebody, it can show like their true character, and that like that's what I really picked up out of it, and like see how much they really respect you to either meet you where you at or like try to bash you down and try to break you down type of deal.
It's like your boundaries. You know, when you put up boundaries and tell someone, hey, I don't want to meet all the time. Hey, I don't want to hang out all the time. And they get mad. Like, whoa. Like, hey, I don't want to meet out all the time because you don't have a car and I keep wasting gas money. Oh, you don't want to, you're not cool, you're not this. I caught you.
You're using me.
You're using me. That's not the case. And why don't you come over here to me? Why don't, you know, you never, you start finding stuff, you start exposing it. It's like a little filter, detox. This is crazy, but you know, we always find out afterwards, which I always get mad at, but can't get mad at again. I said, I knew this person wasn't right for me. I knew it, God.
Hey, but you know what, though? Having those boundaries from the jump is going to make you learn in the beginning, in the forefront, versus afterwards. You know, because a lot of times I realize for myself, at least, is like, I'll go dive in straight, like, what is it saying? Nosedive, like straight into something. Whether it's like a friendship, relationship, whatever it is, I just give that person everything I got. But then I realize, like, oh, hold on, now I'm overpouring, and then I'll put boundaries up halfway through, and then it's like now they shock because they're not used to the energy, that energy. You know what I mean? And so that it's like I'm switching up on them when in reality I'm trying to stay true to myself, but I wasn't in the beginning. You know,
crazy. I had a conversation with somebody that same thing because they was like, it's alright to have boundaries and all that, but don't change who you are. Like meaning like how you approach life, how you view people, how you speak to people. Like, because I was quick to be like, oh no, I ain't doing that because this person did that, this person did that. I'm gonna just be mad at them because they're like, yo, they didn't do that to you. It's just like, just put a boundary and be aware of like, oh, you're not gonna tolerate this. Let them show you before you just put that on them. So, man, so I ain't gonna lie, y'all dropped a lot of gems. So, but now we're gonna tap into how it is important to have people that's, you know, strengthening you, helping you along your walk, that's, you know, sharpening you to, you know, be a better man, woman that God has placed you on this earth to be. So I would say, like, do you guys have like accountability partners or a circle around you right now that is really helping you, you know, shape into the man or that God got you to be?
I mean, I have to say yes. I mean, this here is like a perfect example of it, you know, like just having brothers in Christ and even sisters in Christ too that keep me checked, and I can say it's important because like there's been times where I've fallen, like how it is to backslide.
Yeah.
Everybody goes through it, but having those accountability partners, not to only correct you, but be there to catch you also whenever you're going through that emotional phase of like, dang, I can't believe I did that. God will never forgive me, but they'll be there to be like, God has forgiven me for this, and then for the next time you backslide too. But you're not gonna do it again because I'm here to check you. You know what I mean?
That's good. Yeah, similar to that. Just being part of the church community and seeing everyone on their walks as well. And a friend of mine that's, once I moved to Jersey, he's been here. Just holding me accountable for a lot of things as well. Very, very good to have people in the corner that checks you for a lot of things. And the thing that I like about him so much is that he's not a yes man. Because I will tell him some things and think that I'm justified. We got those conversations where it's saying, am I crazy for thinking that, I should have punched that person for bumping into me? And he will be like, yes, you're crazy. Why are you laying hands on someone?
Yeah.
I'm not saying I did that, just an example. But he's the type of person that, you need someone to say no to. Because if you always have someone say yes, then you can't tell the difference between whether you're doing something right or wrong. It's just there. And also it shows that person's not really your friend, because you can say, hey, I'm gonna drink because I'm stressed out for the day. And they say, yeah, go ahead and do that. That's not your friend. They're not looking out for your well-being. And that person, my friend, is the type to say, nah, let's talk about it, figure out what's really happening and everything. Once again, it's just an example, not for me, but he will let you know straight up, this isn't the way. So make sure you have, I'll say, people like that in your corner that checks on you, holds you accountable, and that disagrees with you. It's good to seek counsel from people that disagree. It sounds crazy, but seek counsel from people that knows you, but that disagrees with you on things, not to argue, but to check you and hold you accountable.
Yeah.
That's right. And like you said, the community aspect, like just seeing people on their walks and like different, I learn from everybody every day. And I'm just like, and I would say being growing up in church and all that, like my fire at times can be low, and seeing somebody that's like, that just got baptized or just got went to the altar and their fire, like, I'm like, you know what, you're right. Like I should have that fire for God too. So it's just like that community base is definitely important and has been helping me just continue to stay focused and like really sharpen my, skills, not even skills, but like my focus on God more rather than my flesh.
Now we're gonna bounce off of what you said, because you need somebody to hold you accountable. And like you need somebody to like sandpaper, right? Nothing's gonna smooth over if you rub it with another smooth thing. If anything, that person might get tainted by what you're doing that's wrong. And so you need somebody that's gonna grit. It's gonna have the grit to go against the grain of what you're trying to do that's wrong. And it's kind of like that verse that you guys was. Imagine if you was trying to sharpen iron with putty. You know what I mean? If anything, you're gonna cut through the putty. And if that's your friend, you cut into your friend. You know what I mean?
Another thing with iron sharpens iron. There's some people I feel, I heard in my experience, that don't really understand the concept of iron sharpening iron. Because when you're sharpening iron, there's friction, there's small sparks, like mini explosions before something is made new with the other person. And if you're not aware, if you're not wearing spiritual armor, the helmet, you're not gonna understand that person's trying to help you, not hurt you. If you don't understand that, you're gonna take it as that person's hurting me, they're coming at my character, they're not listening to me, they're not trying to help me. But instead, iron sharpen iron. It's just basically, I want you to be just as good, maybe even better than me in this area, so we both can be better. Because if we're friends, if you're better than me in this area, I know you'll lift me up, and we'll both just use each other as ladders so we can both be at the top. So for those out there that don't know, or have someone in their lives that don't know what that concept means, just read it over in the Bible and just don't take it to heart, don't take it personal. Someone's really trying to help you to change for the better, whether it's the gym, whether it's diet, eating habits, or routine. They're not calling you out. They just want to see you win.
And then real quick, I'm sorry. Like I got this thought in my mind when you was talking about like it creates spark, it's chaotic, right?
Yeah.
Iron sharp. If you think about it, you know, iron sharpens iron. Everybody thinks of swords,
Yeah.
like at crafting a sword. When you're careful with it, the sword is being sharpened. A weapon is being made. But imagine iron also destroys iron if it's not being clashed appropriately.
Right.
You know, like if you're coming too aggressive, this person's coming aggressive and this person's coming aggressive, and they're clashing, you're gonna end up breaking each other. But if it's smooth, but still grinding against each other, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Then it'll create a weapon, two sharp swords versus one with a bunch of chains in it.
What you was just saying right there, it made me think of it's not the message, it's the delivery of the message.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that resonated. I'm like, oh,
What you say, not say.
Exactly.
You say what you mean without saying it.
Mm-hmm.
What's another thing parents always say to us, teachers and all that stuff.
yeah, it's like you tell somebody to lose weight and you like,
Yeah.
you're fat. Like, yo, you hurt my hand.
Yeah.
Like, yo, you should come to the gym and be like, you know.
I think Pastor said at this past sermon, he was talking about like truth without love isn't truth because truth has love in it. Something along those lines. Yeah.
It is true. That bandit.
Look at all, people really trying to help you out, man. You're my brother, you're my sister. There's no problem. We got no beef.
Yeah.
If there's beef, you know,
That's your side. I ain't got no beef.
I ain't got no beef.
I don't know what you got beef with because I'm a rich.
I love that mindset. My thing is, if someone's mad at me, I just know I already won in a way where, because I'm not mad.
Mm-hmm.
You're mad at me for a personal thing. Let's talk about it if you want to. If not, that's on you.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm not mad, and I won't let that make me mad.
Yeah. I'm working on that. I'll be getting mad sometimes.
Yeah, we're all working on some things, but that was a great episode right there.
Yeah.
What else we have? What else we want to discuss? Any other personal testimonies? Anything that we want to drop some hidden gems? We do like a little rapid fire between us three, and I don't know if we want to speak to our viewers, advice.
We talk about the buddy check.
Buddy check, yeah.
Remember how, so you're talking about the armor? Did you explain the armor? Or, I don't know.
Yeah, so for last episode, the armor, you want to make sure that you're well equipped for the world, spiritually and physically. So, like we were just saying, not getting affected or offended by a lot of stuff. Different parts of our armor, we got to make sure that they're well maintained by reading our word and our routine with God. So, I think with your buddy check, that's good with wearing your armor and spiritual foundation.
Yeah.
So,
And then, so like in the military, we have this thing where it's called like chem gear, basically. So you wear like a gas mask, you wear like some boots, some gloves, like a different set of pants and a different top, basically. And the buddy check is like, I'll put his chem gear on and he thinks he's all good to go. But a buddy check is when I'll check him head to toe and I'll make sure he got all of his armor on. And if he has a hole in his armor, I'll tell him that he's not good because then the chemical can sneak through that crevice and it'll reach him and it'll kill him. And the same way with like your armor, you should have good buddies around you and they should be able to buddy check you. Because if he denies my buddy check, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
Or he's just gonna end up really hurt, chemical burns and all that stuff. But the same way with the armor, you gotta have that buddy check and a trusted buddy, because you have to have somebody that's actually gonna take the time to check everything.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Like that. I had like a whole visual
Yeah,
of like
bro.
army guys, but then I don't know, it switched to like knights. Get prepared, put it on your stuff, and like you got a crack in your breastplate.
Yeah.
Someone shoots an arrow at you, boom!
Done.
That's like the chemicals, you get
Exactly.
hurt. And that arrow could be somebody,
Yeah.
talking bad about your fit, like your fit is trash. You get shot like, oh, I'm about to punch you. Your friend's like, yo, how you feeling today?
You look good.
Bro, you know your fit is fire.
Yeah.
So if you go outside, someone says, yo, your fit is trash. Ding!
Right.
You don't be like, yo, Fitz, try. Nah, you say you're like, oh, that came out of nowhere. Anyway, I want to eat some food. Where I want to go? You know, little things.
I'm not gonna lie, because that was a great example. I'm like, dang. And then what really, like, I would say ignited a spark in my mind is like someone you trust to give you, because if you don't, if somebody's saying something and you don't really trust what they're saying, you just like, all right, you know what?
Yeah.
So like, I feel like trust is definitely needed when I would say in that check. So.
That's good. But also, just to encourage our listeners, there's three takeaways I want to talk about towards the end of this episode. To leave you guys with, I want you to audit your circle. I discussed that with my guys here. You know, auditing your circle, when you audit something, you're checking, you show you dotting your I's, crossing your T's, all your P's and Q's, right? Because not only can you change, your heart posture change, your friends can change, because you could be walking your walk with God, and then someone misaligns some things similar to like basketball. Someone is they're playing with sprained ankle. Then you realize, oh, there's something's going on. It feels like we're playing with 4 people. The other one is invite accountability. Invite it. Don't be afraid of it. What's that the guy say? Don't be afraid of it. Be aware of it, or something. I don't know. But yeah, invite accountability. This day and age, a lot of people is allergic to accountability, and they don't want to get checked or hear any sort of correction, whether it's good, and they know it's good, they hate it.
Yeah.
But just be more sensitive to inviting accountability for yourself. Don't point fingers at other people, but take it for yourself so you can discern those around you and what you need to change for yourself. And lastly, stay home. Release relationships with grace, not bitterness. And that's everything. Release relationship with grace, not bitterness. Don't let it change you, don't let it mess you up. Just know that, like Al said, that weight is being lifted and you can walk more freely. And just more aware.
Gems right there.
Yeah, I was like that. You gotta think about it. Yeah.
Which one do you think is the hardest for you of those 3?
For me, probably the second one. In terms of like inviting I would say correction, because like I mentioned before, it's about the delivery rather than like the message. Because I'll receive the message, but if you say it in terms of like you coming crazy, like now I put up a wall. I'm like, hold on, I gotta protect myself before I receive that. So yeah, I would say that's for me.
I think the auditing my circle, because like one thing about me is like if I mess with somebody, like if I love somebody, I make a lot of excuses for them, and at one point in my life, I would make a lot of excuses for myself too, but I'm realizing that loving somebody isn't like making excuses for them. It's holding them accountable, and like really looking at them for everything that they are and looking at myself for everything that I am and acknowledging it instead of just being like, it's fine, that's just who they are, that's just who I am, I don't gotta change nothing. But that's something that actively working on, for sure.
I like that a lot. That's very common. Also common.
Yeah.
Lastly, I say before we just fully close it, I've written down just a closing idea. It's a closing idea that we all agreed upon here. Just to once again leave something with you. It says basically, you can wear the strongest armor in the world, but if you're surrounded by people pulling you back into old habits, old thinking, and old wounds, the battle gets harder than it needs to be. Yeah. I feel like this whole episode was just a big part 2 to episode 5, wearing your armor. Like, it's a fight, man. We're fighting out here,
Maybe it'll be 5.5 instead of 6.
It's been great, yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, this episode definitely spoke to me, and I feel a lift. I ain't gonna lie, I feel a lift after this whole conversation. I'm just like, oh, wow.
All right.
Yeah. Hey, look, appreciate y'all for tuning in. I hope y'all feel how I'm feeling, because I'm feeling free.
Mm-hmm.
But stay tuned for the next episodes, and appreciate y'all. Again, thank you to our special guest, Yosh. He dropped a lot of gems today, because, hey, more to come. So appreciate y'all. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day, y'all week. May God continue to bless you.